Okay, hello and welcome to Who Would Win in a Fight. Sorry about the background noise, I'm just on the exercise bike for a little while. Now, what I'd like to discuss in today's video is something that's gained a lot more prominence of recent times. It's Billy Joe Saunders, and in particular Billy Joe Saunders against Gennady Golovkin. Now, I've thought for maybe about 18 months that Saunders could potentially be the only boxer on the planet who'd be able to beat Golovkin. And after both Golovkin's performance against Canelo, and in particular Saunders' performance against Lemieux, I'm going to stick to that prediction a lot more steadfastly than I would have maybe 6 to 9 months ago. Now, I'm a big fan of Golovkin, and I also like Billy Joe. His personality at times can be very brash and abrasive, but sometimes behind the veneer of that brash talker, he does talk a lot of sense, and a lot of his points that he makes are spot on. But sometimes you got to take the fact that he's a bit rough around the edges when it comes to the way he addresses certain topics. Now, Billy Joe Saunders, WBO champion, he's absolute world level. I think he's an elite boxer. He's a southpaw. He fights. He knows his limitations, and that primarily being he doesn't have much punching power. Now, at a lower level, his limited punching power will have an effect on lower tier fighters. But a guy like Golovkin and even Alvarez, the other champions operating at world level, he's not going to have enough of muster on his punches to cause any serious damage. So, for him to beat Golovkin, it's obviously going to be on points, but it's going to be tough. Again, Golovkin's a good operator, very, very good at cutting off the ring. I've addressed this in other videos. So, it's going to be a 12-round victory, I think, for Saunders. It's going to be hard fought. He's going to be on the back foot, which he's quite prepared to do against Lemieux. Lemieux's a come-forward guy. He's a B-level version of what Golovkin is without the ferocious punching power. So Saunders would have to be on his back foot, but that's not new to him. He could probably spend the rest of his career being on the back foot and being very, very comfortable doing that. I think the Alvarez-Golovkin fight, what that showed really is that sometimes Golovkin got a lot of credit for the fact that he was very good at cutting off the ring. But when you have another world level operator, which Alvarez is, and in my prediction video on the Alvarez-Golovkin fight, I did think Golovkin would win. And on the night I thought he did win, only by a point. And I think what that fight showed is how good Alvarez was. And Alvarez at times made Golovkin look a little leaden-footed. And when it comes to footwork, Alvarez isn't even near Saunders' neighbourhood when it comes to footwork. So I think, especially, the Alvarez rematch is coming up later on in the year. So if Saunders is ever going to fight Golovkin, it probably would be at the tail end of this year. So by then, Saunders is going to be better. But unfortunately, further time will mean that Golovkin's just going to be a little bit older, maybe just fractionally slower. And again, guys operating at those top levels, you lose 2 to 3% of a skill, it can make all the difference. So my hunch is if the two of them meet, obviously it would take Golovkin to beat Alvarez for Saunders then to come in and fight Golovkin. If the two of them meet, it would be at the tail end of this year, and I just think Saunders is just too slick, too fast. And remember as well, for all Saunders' bravado, he's got a pretty good chin himself. He's been in with some big bangers, and he's never really been seriously rattled. So he has the potential and the ability to be able to stand up to Golovkin's power. But I think he's just such a really tricky, evasive southpaw that he mightn't ever feel Golovkin's power. You know, his defense is so good. His movement, in some ways, he reminds me very much like Joe Calzaghe. But Joe Calzaghe was far more a come forward fighter, whereas Joe is a little bit more happier on the back foot. So again, just to sum up, if they do fight, and I hope they do, because I think it'd be fascinating. Obviously, Saunders' profile is far greater than what it was this time last year. But if they do fight, I think Saunders will pinch a points decision, and I think that may be the last fight of Golovkin's career. So until next time, goodbye.